Over 200,000 Jamaicans are living with diabetes, but with knowledge and support, you can live your best life. That's what's on today's program. Plus, we serve up some tasty meals in observance of Eat Jamaican Month. I'm Vanessa Silvera with another information-rich edition of Jamaica Magazine, starting right now.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica. Original.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 14, 2022. Countries across the region have begun to model the Jamaican government's new social housing program, NSHP. A team from Trinidad and Tobago was on the island last week to observe operations under the Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment HOPE program with a view to adapt the initiative in the Twin Island Republic. The team was at the handover of 6 units by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in several communities across Clarendon and St. Catherine on Thursday. This is in keeping with a commitment to deliver 20 social houses in November.
The problem of providing housing for the indigent, for persons who have no income, for the poor, it's not just a Jamaica problem. It's a problem right across the Caribbean. And that you are here to observe what Jamaica is doing says quite a bit about the program.
Prime Minister Holness advised the Trinidad delegates to consider the involvement of members of Parliament in the selection process of recipients. The National Road Safety Council, NRSC, is imploring motorists with outstanding traffic tickets to make payments expeditiously. Director of the Road Safety Unit, Canute Hare, made the appeal while indicating that the call for extending the previously proposed December 1 deadline to pay tickets is being considered, with a new date to be determined.
We just want to encourage persons to not to use the month of November and December to create mayhem on the traffic environment. And we'll appeal to all road users, please, drive for the family. And do not drive in such a way that will cause you to get traffic tickets. Let us make a strong decision as road users to behave ourselves on the road network so that no traffic ticket is issued to anyone.
This comes even as many public passenger vehicle PPV operators withdrew their services on Monday, calling for an amnesty to pay their outstanding traffic tickets without penalty. The government is reviewing the request. In the meantime, Mr. Hare says initiatives by several stakeholders are being ramped up to reduce road fatalities, which have so far exceeded 400 for the year. He points to motorists' disregard for the rules of the road as a major factor in the number of lives being lost year on year. To help bring home the point for better road use, the Minister of Transport is implementing a public education campaign and community engagement. The Island Traffic Authority will be deploying more personnel to carry out spot checks to determine defective vehicles. There will also be an increased presence of police on the streets and motorcycle training by the Ministry of National Security and the National Road Safety Council. This will be for cyclists in Mountainside, St. Elizabeth, a major accident hotspot. Fishermen and boat operators are being urged to exercise due diligence when fishing at sea and going into the territories of other countries. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, is urging these individuals to note the changing times and laws of these countries. She says illegal fishing is now a major international issue and measures are now in place for vessels to be seized and the crew liable for imprisonment.
A judicial process. They are not political processes in which governments can engage and on friendship. If a decision is taken to commence that process, it becomes very difficult. I want to call on our boat owners and operators and the captains of these vessels to fish responsibly in our waters. I also want to impress on boat owners the importance of insurance, not only for damage, but for loss and seizure, and more importantly, for the care and protection of their crew.
Senator Johnson Smith was making her contribution to the State of the Nation debate recently. She says going forward, the Foreign Affairs Ministry will be working with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to establish a policy on such matters. Senator Johnson Smith points out that in recent times, her ministry has facilitated the repatriation of scores of fishermen. Reference was made to the most recent case of 34 Jamaicans who were held in San Andres, Colombia. 33 crew members returned to the island on Friday, with the captain regrettably detained to face charges. 125 Epson printers will be donated to primary schools to assist in the provision of copies of worksheets and prints from textbooks to students. Minister of Education and Youth Fable Williams welcomed the donation during a handover ceremony at the New Providence Primary recently. The printers were provided through the Usain Bolt Foundation, which is involved in a 2-year partnership with Epson, and it is expected that a total of 225 printers will be supplied to schools across the island. Minister Williams says the donation is one that supports an agreement already established with the Ministry and Copyright Foundation of Jamaica.
Many may not know the significance of printers to our schools, but printers are extremely important. Additionally, I know that all of our schools have an administrative office and they have to do things as well. This is a useful resource for our schools.
The ministry's regional offices will oversee the distribution of the printers to schools. And finally, the Ministry of Education and Youth has scheduled several activities to observe Anti-Gang Week in schools. This is being coordinated by the Ministry's Safety and Security in Schools unit, along with various divisions of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. The week of activities are aligned with the Ministry's End Violence in Schools campaign. 2 sessions are scheduled for Tuesday, November 15, a virtual anti-gang workshop with Deans of Discipline and Guidance Counselors, and Restorative Practices virtual training with 10 secondary and 7 primary schools. On Wednesday, there will be an anti-gang town hall meeting at the Office of the Commissioner of Police, while Restorative Practices training will continue in targeted schools. For Anti-Gang Day on Thursday, school resource officers and church leaders will hold motivational talks in approximately 100 high schools. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Living with diabetes requires taking your medication on time, eating healthy, and getting enough exercise. Next, we explore the holistic management of this condition.
Diabetes is a serious chronic lifestyle disease affecting millions of people over the world and continues to increase. Diabetes affects how your body turns food into energy. It is a disease in which your blood glucose or blood sugar levels are too high, and glucose comes from the food you eat. Insulin is a hormone that helps the glucose get into your cells to give energy. Sometimes your body doesn't make enough or any at all, doesn't make any insulin, and so it doesn't use the insulin well. Glucose then stays in your blood and doesn't reach your cells. Over time, having too much glucose in your blood can cause complications. Example, situations with the kidney, heart disease, and so on. Although diabetes has no cure, there are steps you can take to manage your diabetes and stay healthy.
It is through lifestyle that we manage the risk of diabetes. Those behaviors include increased physical activity, a healthy diet, routine health checks, and strict adherence to medication. The ministry will be championing the cause of persons living with diabetes. We have updated our clinical management guidelines, which is now available on our website, and we will be working on increasing access to testing through the introduction of point-of-care testing. This methodology of testing is the gold standard for monitoring and control of diabetes. Our agency, the National Health Fund, will continue to support persons through the provision of diabetic medication and supplies, and I encourage persons with diabetes to enroll in the NHF card program to access this benefit.
The person with diabetes should really have an opportunity to sit down with a trained clinician who is able to help them to understand the concepts of diabetes self-management, education, and support. There are 4 core areas the patient must begin to understand. How and when to take medication. That's the first one. If you take insulin, then you need to know how does your insulin work and how do you eat in relation to the insulin. Then there are the people who have type 2 diabetes, which commonly start off with education on activity and just healthy nutrition. And then we add 1 of 5 classes of oral agents. And then we teach them how to make food, how to eat food. Also, we think of things like target blood pressure. Is your weight healthy, or do you need to lose a little weight? And most importantly, how do you feel? What is your quality of life? All of this is what we focus on. Also, when you get your lab work done, what is your hemoglobin A1C? The target should be 7% or less. Keep that number in your mind. Diabetes damages the feet, the kidney, and the eyes at first, and then eventually we also find it can cause coronary vascular disease too. But for foot care, the person with diabetes every day, you wash your feet, wash them properly. Dry your feet, dry between the toes. Moisturize your feet, but do not put moisturizer between the toes. Make sure that you wear cotton socks, right? If you're going to have your toes cut by somebody trained who knows how to cut them. Examine your feet every day. Do not walk barefoot. Please, please, please do not walk barefooted, because if you injure or cause trauma to the feet, you may not feel it because your diabetes has damaged the nerves to the feet. And finally, when you buy shoes that are comfortable and that you can wear without causing blisters or trauma to the feet. Now we have research that shows that I can prevent the eye damage, the kidney damage, the foot damage, and the amputations by just keeping my blood glucose under control and taking care of myself.
There's no such thing as a diabetic diet, but it's all about how much I eat, the timing of my meals. So it's your portion sizes is what is important. Now, what we do recommend is that persons eat at least 3 balanced meals per day and small snacks. Snacks usually mean smaller, more nourishing meals, which we usually recommend that it be your fruits, your vegetables, or you can also use your nuts. Each meal or snack should contain protein because we need it to be balanced as well. Each meal should contain at least your protein and your fat, and we also want them to select a variety of foods from all the food groups. So there is some recommendations about the amount of fruits that you should eat per day. We usually say 2 to 3 servings. We want you to include a variety of vegetables daily. We also want you to include more peas, beans, and nuts in your daily meals. Reduce your intake of salty and processed foods, and to reduce your intake of fats and oils, and that of sugary foods and drinks. You aim for foods that have high sources of fiber, such as your whole wheat bread, whole grain rice, flour. More if you're growing provisions, they will give you fiber, right? And that will slow down the rate at which your body breaks down the food, so you won't have a rapid increase in your blood sugar levels, versus if you eat foods that are low in these added fibers. When you're having alcohol as a person living with diabetes is not to have it on an empty stomach, because it gives the risk of lowering your blood sugar. And also what we want you to do is that once you have diabetes, we do not really recommend the mixed drinks, so as to say, because they usually have a sweetened base. For women, it's usually you can have a drink per day, and for men is no more than 2 drinks. And what is a drink? Usually for beer, it's not more than 12 ounces. And for like a shot, is usually a shot, which is about 1.5 ounces. And for wine, recommendation is usually about 5 ounces thereabout.
There are several researches that have shown that physical activity, when done properly, for persons who are diabetic, again, you heard it, allows you to use up glucose. For children, the recommendation is at least 60 minutes, 5 days a week of moderate to vigorous activity, and it must be a combination of muscle and bone strengthening activity. That's the recommendation for our children. For adults, it's at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week to get some health benefit, meaning increased circulation, reduced stress. And for the elderly, it's at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. If you're a diabetic patient, these are some of the activities that are very good for you. Swimming, jogging, dancing, these activities, they're not very vigorous. You maintain them at a low to moderate pace, and it's a very effective way of managing and controlling your blood glucose or your blood sugar. If you are going to start a physical activity program, that you check with your doctor before you start, because if you have a condition, if you're diabetic, hypertensive, you have any other medical condition, your doctor will determine the intensity level, the type of activities that you can do.
Persons living with diabetes mellitus have multiple psychosocial issues related to diabetes management and its complications even before COVID. And there's an entity called diabetic distress, which refers to the negative emotions such as feeling hopeless, angry, or frustrated that persons who are diagnosed with diabetes experience, especially if they lack social support. I must mention we have the mental health helpline, which is 888-639-5433, or simply remember 888-NEW-LIFE, which is a 24-hour, 7 days per week psychological support produced by psychologists. When you call this number, they can provide emotional support for you. If you are feeling any form of emotional distress, they can provide support for you, and where you need additional help, they will direct you to additional help.
November is Eat Jamaican Month. Next, we join Katie Aloy with Chef Dennis Osborne, who is dishing out dinner with ingredients grown right at home. Grab a fork and dig in.
Jamaica is known for its culinary melting pot of flavors. Our local cuisine mixes inspiration from our European, African, East Asian, and Indian roots, making our meals a wonderful blend of herbs and spices, ranging from simple appetizers to a heavy main course. Under the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Grow Smart, Eat Smart campaign, we will look at ways to eat smart. And so today, one of our local chefs will whip up dishes using produce from his very own garden. Fruits are sources of many essential nutrients like potassium, dietary fiber, vitamin C, and folate. And it's best to have it at the beginning of the day. So starting off today's entree is a fruit platter being prepared by
Chef Dennis Osborne from D&E Caterers and Restaurant Limited. Alright, so we'll be going right ahead. We'll be peeling to just create a simple design on the plate here. So we'll be having our papa as well, promoting healthy eating. Over here we are using a kringle cutter just to get it fancy. All these fruits that we have here, it's straight from the backyard, straight onto our plate right here. Here you go, perfect fruit platter within 5 minutes or less.
Food security will allow Jamaica to provide adequate and a safe supply of food for everyone, like the fruit platter seen here. Cultivating the food or fruits you love will not only add to food production, but make it more accessible. And if fruits are not your forte,
next on the menu, we'll be moving straight to our fresh salad. So here again, we're making a fresh salad, a green salad. So everything is straight from the backyard, and we'll be going ahead by just making some green vegetables. So we have our romaine lettuce, we have our iceberg lettuce, our cucumber, our carrot, our green tomatoes, and our little cherry plum tomatoes as well. Started right here. So peeling our carrots, getting it all ready for show. Okay. So we're having the carrot just for color, and carrot also is very healthy and good for us. Let's make some random chops in them. We can just drizzle with some olive oil, or we can add some fresh vinegar to it as well for that tangy taste. But I mean, look at it, it's as beautiful as it gets.
to top it off, you can add peanuts, cashew, or cranberries that are rich in vitamins and minerals. Just another way to make your taste buds scream.
What's next on the menu is stuffed chicken breast with callaloo and stuffed tilapia fish with callaloo as well. So we finally chop in clove of garlic. There we go. Add it to our pot and preparing our callaloo as well. We're adding some carrot also to it for color. Some fine cubes within 5 minutes. It is all ready to go. Just a pinch of salt. So we're gonna go ahead and prepare our fire for the chicken breast. So we had a knob of butter in it. This is our chicken breast. We're lightly seasoned, salt and black pepper. Create a pocket inside our chicken breast here. We're gonna be adding our callaloo to the pot in just a bit. This will literally take 10 minutes in the pot, 5 minutes on either side. And then we are ready. You know we have to have some garlic as well in the oil to flavor it. It is very, very good. You know, we Jamaican, we grew up on garlic. So first thing you stick, grab a garlic. We're gonna stuff our tilapia while that chicken is getting seared. Here's a tilapia here, so we're gonna be putting a knob of butter as well because we don't want it to be sticking in it, so the butter helps to moisturize it. So this is a perfect way to seal your tilapia and shove it in the ovens. We went ahead and blanched our vegetables, so just in our vegetables here. Adding a sprig of thyme as well. Also some fresh parsley. Let it rest for 2 minutes.
Grab your chicken, slice as desired, and voila!
Stuffed chicken breast with our own backyard vegetables and our charred tomato ready to go.
To keep the fire burning, a side of sweet plantains to complement the tilapia.
You know, Jamaicans, we love ripe plantain, right? We'll be cutting it on the bias again using our kringle cutter. So we're adding the ice green and gold color to our pot. We're julienne our sweet peppers, and these are sweet pepper, these are not bell peppers. plantains aside. There you have it, roast tilapia, plantains served with slice of avocado on our fresh vegetable from our backyard.
Just yum! And to fill all gaps in the stomach, what's better than to add a blend of cherry juice?
We're actually making about 6 cups of cherry juice, and it's optional for sweetener because these cherries are very, very sweet. We can add a tablespoon of honey if we wish.
And you can do all this with ingredients from a home garden. Let's continue to hold on to our traditions by growing the food we love. Excellent.
What can a little germs do?
Pink eye running belly, even flu. Germs can make them happen to you.
Put germs on our manners with these. Cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Always wash your hand with water and soap. Keep dirty hands from your eyes and your nose and your mouth. You don't want to be sick, take care. Practice every day, no germs around here. A message from the Ministry of Health.
That's all the time we have with you today on Jamaica Magazine. We return tomorrow with another information-packed program, so be sure to check in with us then, right here on this station. Visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to catch up on parts of the show you might have missed. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Vanessa Silvera. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.